Capital RC&D visited multiple farms to learn about successful on-farm composting in Pennsylvania. Let's take a look at the compost bedded pack system used by the dairy operation at Four Springs Farm in Lehigh County, Pennsylvania.
We started dairy farming in 2015. We had cows being milked at friends' farms. We did not have anything of our own yet. So we designed and built this facility specifically knowing that we wanted to do the composting manure. We knew we didn't want to be handling a large amount of liquid manure due to our close proximity to neighbors. We live next to a housing development, and just for fuel savings, and we were already set up to handle dry manure. It just made sense to go the route of handling our dairy manure as a dry compost. I still have a liquid manure storage structure underneath where the cows stand to eat. I have a slatted manure pit the length of the barn. Somewhere between 25 and 50% of the manure goes in there, in addition to our milk house wash water. But then a good majority of the manure is in the compost.
In addition to the slatted area, the barn has two 130 by 42-foot long bedded pack pens, joined by a 14-foot wide section in the middle that provides equipment access and serves as a walkway to the milking parlor.
What we do is, after the cattle leave the pen to go over to the milking parlor, I will then go into the pen and turn the rototiller on and drop it into the compost. And I have a reverse rotation rototiller, meaning the rotor's spinning the opposite direction of the way you're traveling. So what that does is it allows it to dig itself in further than most traditional rototillers. So I am tilling down to approximately 11 or 12 inches deep. So I am incorporating all the manure that's laying on the surface, and I'm bringing up some of the moist, very microbially active compost from underneath. And within a few moments, everything dries out again, and that's really accelerated by all the heat that you're pulling up to the surface. And it's crucial to keep the pen fluffy and at the ideal moisture content. We put bedding in the pens usually every 7 to 10 days, depending on the weather and the time of year. And for 2 or 3 days after we put the fresh sawdust in, things are sort of on the drier side. And then there's a 3 or 4 day really sweet period in the middle of that week where things are just working really well. They're nice and hot. Things are drying out perfectly. And then toward the end of the week, then you'll start seeing on the surface after you rototill, the manure is starting to turn into little balls. And that's telling you that things are too wet. And usually about a day or two later, that's when you see the bedding actually start sticking to the cows. The cows start getting brown stains on them, and you know it's definitely time. That's when we'll go ahead and add new sawdust. We'll use a manure spreader, and we'll spread a layer of fresh bedding about 2 inches thick, and then immediately rototill it so all that nice dry bedding gets down into the pack and it doesn't blow away. And we don't want to lose any bedding in the form of dust blowing out of the building. After we take this compost out, it's so completely composted and broken down, it's pretty much no longer heating. Initially, we thought we were going to further compost it, add it to my dad's food waste composting business, but we're doing such a good job here with breaking it down with the rototilling that, yeah, it's ready to go on the field. There's pretty much nothing else it's going to do as far as composting.
In addition to the bedded pack compost, Four Springs Farm uses windrows to compost food waste from a variety of sources. These windrows provide a solution to an issue experienced by all livestock producers, specifically livestock mortalities.
We usually take some of our fairly fresh compost that is really heating well and make about a 2-foot pad of that, and then we add some extra straw and stuff, and then put the animal in there on top of the pad, and then cover it up with another 4 or 6 feet of really active compost directly from our windrows.
In approximately 5 to 6 months, the mortality compost is finished and can be applied to the fields using the same methods as the bedded pack compost.
We handle pretty much everything ourselves. We've got enough acres that we can definitely use all the manure ourselves. I don't have to go elsewhere to get rid of it. We have a decent sized grain operation. We're farming 800 acres, so we've got plenty of nutrient demands here, and definitely have a use for the manure. Compost is great for soil health. Years before we had the cow compost, my dad was doing food waste composting. He started that, I believe, maybe around 2001, and we've been field applying that, and it's made a tremendous difference in crop yields. I know as far as there's a lot of other things we're doing better, but corn yields are 50 to 75 bushel higher than they were when I was a young kid, and I'm 30 now. I just know we got better water holding capacity in our soil. We have a light shaly soil here, and now I feel like we're just holding the water a lot better, and everything's just working a lot better having all that extra organic matter in there.
Each farm has specific site considerations that must be taken into account when developing an on-farm composting system. Contact Pennsylvania's DEP to learn more about regulations, and contact the USDA Natural Resources Conservation Service for technical assistance.